Welcome, everybody, to this Instagram Ruined My Marriage series. Today, I'm going to be sharing the ways that my scrolling online, and I'm saying Instagram, but it could also sometimes be watching Netflix or reading a magazine or even talking to moms at the park or moms groups that have influenced my marriage for the worse and actually infiltrated into my mind and planted seeds of frustration, of irritation, of resentment, and sometimes even of despair. If this sounds like something you're curious about and interested in, and you'd like to train your eyes to see these cultural realities, these cultural lessons and memes, then stick around. Hello. If you're here for the first time, I'm Avital. I'm the mother of 5. I'm on a mission to help everybody to build a strong family culture, strong marriages, strong parenting, a really sense of cohesion and closeness and togetherness and values. And some of the things in our culture at large really help and support that. And many of the things that we consume online and offline actually make that much more difficult. So have you had that experience? I would love to hear. Let's get the comment section going. Say hello. Let me know where in the world you're from. And now we're going to dive right in to how Instagram ruined my marriage. Okay, so here's the short version, and then I'm going to show you rather than tell you. We're actually going to look at Instagram together. Nothing dramatic happened to my marriage. If I look at my marriage about a bit over a decade ago, maybe 15 years ago, or around the time when Instagram was coming into play, it wasn't that something dramatic happened. It wasn't that I suddenly became disillusioned or that I felt like my husband wasn't measuring up. I just started to notice, or maybe in retrospect, I really understand that after enough scrolling, I trusted my marriage less. Okay, it's not that my husband had changed, it's that the algorithm had changed me. And I'm going to explain exactly how. So let's dive into Instagram. And again, this could be TikTok. It could be anything. It could be whatever your poison is. It could be your Peloton mom group or the WhatsApp group that you're part of from your childhood friendships. But these are the types of reels and images that worm their way into our mind and we don't notice, but I'm going to show you how they deeply influence how we see our real lives and our real marriages. Because as a parenting coach, as a marriage coach, what I'm interested in is your internal, real, authentic experience at home, not what it looks like on your social media. All right. So let's dive right in. And I'm going to show you as I'm talking. And if you're just listening to this one, that's fine. I'll describe what we're seeing. So the first reel I'm showing you here is a couple who is hugging and embracing in this warm, wonderful embrace. And she's saying 3 years in, and this is still my reaction to you coming home. Now you might be thinking, Avital, why do you want to throw shade at these people? What's wrong with that? Isn't it wonderful that people are happy when their husband comes home, even after 3 years of marriage? And to that I say, absolutely. Like, shine, enjoy, you go girl, absolutely. And none of what I'm about to show you is to throw shade at these people. It's to actually show you what happens in my brain as the consumer when I watch these videos. So say I watched this video and I had not had that eruption of emotion and excitement and energy. I was frustrated. I was busy with the kids. I was exhausted. I was a little bit irritated about how the phone call went just before, or that my husband was later than he said he would be. And I don't have that reaction. When I then watch this online, one of the things that happens inside of me is a natural thing that happens to all of us, which is comparison, right? I'm comparing their highlight reel to my reality. Okay. So what happens is that I start thinking, well, there must be something wrong with me, right? There's something wrong with my husband. Let's take a look at this one. Let me know if you can hear the audio. I'm not sure if you can actually. Just let me know in the comments. But basically, she's talking about all the things that her husband does for her. Okay, no, we'll just switch the audio off and I'll just tell you. He does the laundry. She doesn't touch the laundry ever. Whenever she comes out of a hot shower, he wraps her in a burrito towel and dries her off for her, right? He's doing all of these things. And there are many reels of couples that basically come and flex all the wonderful things that their husband does for them, right? The wife is just going on and on. There's the opposite too, and don't worry, we will get to that in this challenge. But there are many reels of wives who are just pointing out how very wonderful and special their husband is and how he goes above and beyond. We're going to look at more of those in a minute, okay? Here's another example. I had a little bit of a hard day. And so my husband went off with our 4 children, including a newborn baby, and got 4 bouquets of flowers for me and showed up at the door, and look how sweet. And I want you to notice something, that these women are videoing this and then posting it for public consumption. Take a look at how amazing my husband, right? It's a wonderful thing to be able to brag about. I'm happy for them. I want them to have good marriages and to enjoy their husband's behaviors, okay, and love and all the things that he gives them. That's super great. However, what bothers me about this is the effect that it has on us as consumers. Because I might have been having a hard day, and when I see this and my husband didn't go off and do that for me because it's super extra, and because for whatever reason, maybe he does it in a different way, maybe he has different strengths, maybe he doesn't think of this, then this becomes my new standard, my new normal, my new expectation, and I'm comparing my real life, my complexities, my cons to her pros, right? My downsides to her upsides. Here's another one. Let's normalize this. Okay. Raising kids who say, stop flirting instead of stop fighting. Again, do I agree? Of course I agree. And it's absolutely adorable that they're all wearing matching dresses and standing in their beautiful kitchen and kissing passionately. And I think that's great. And I'm so happy for them. But there's something about the performance, the videoing of this, the editing of this, and the uploading of this that makes me as the consumer think this is just what normal other families look like. They're all frolicking in their beautiful floral matching dresses, and they're all always kissing passionately. And other couples aren't ever having disagreements or fights, or the kids are never saying stop fighting in their household. Why are they saying it in mine? There must be something wrong with me. Here's a guy who says, here's everything I do before I go away so that my wife can manage while I'm away. Okay. He's preparing the car. He's preparing the fridge. He's putting on the calendar a reconnect day. Okay. He doesn't want her to feel, he left his wife with their 8-month-old baby for a few days. Okay. So here's everything he has to do. He prepares the food, the diapers, he stocks the fridge. He's making meals and labeling the meals. Now, this is the type of thing that I venture to guess that many of our husbands would not do, could not do not think of doing. And so as soon as I see this, my brain immediately thinks, oh my God, I got a lemon. My husband sucks. Why doesn't he do any of these things? Look at this guy. He's perfect. I chose the wrong guy. We're not compatible. It was a mistake, right? Immediately I go to the fantasy of what my husband could be, what he should be. Okay. Look at this one. Some men will spend a month planning your birthday, and others will ask, so what do you want to do? Well, guess what, ladies and gentlemen of High Fam? I'm married to one of the guys who says, what do you want to do for your birthday? Okay. But as soon as I see a video like this, oh my gosh, champagne and the dinners and the fancy surprises and everyone and diamonds and flowers and cakes, of course, I start to feel like, oh no, my marriage sucks. My marriage doesn't count. My marriage is null and void. Look at this incredible, display he's put on for her. I guess my husband just isn't up to scratch. I guess I made a mistake. We start to really wonder why our marriage looks so pale by comparison. Okay, a couple more examples here, and then we'll just talk it through, okay? Here's a woman who's crying that her husband has gone away, not because he's gone away, but because of the efforts he's gone to stock their fridge with all the most perfect, organic, homemade things that he could do, right? He just knows everything that they need, the probiotics and the special milk, and he's vacuum packed meals so that she doesn't have to make the meals. And wow, he's really just like the hostess with the mostess. He's done everything for her. And here I am crying because my husband hasn't done any of these things for me, right? When I watch this, it feels like a dagger again, right? Now, let me know in the comments, have you had this experience? You watch these videos and you think, oh my God, why is none of that happening in my home? There must be something wrong with my marriage. Okay. Here's a woman who's bragging about the things that her husband does that would send a low effort man into a coma. Okay. this seems to be some kind of trend where people do this, where they make a long list of all the things their husband does that other men can't compete with, can't be compared to. A low effort man would never be able to do all of these things, right? He is making sure that she can nurse at night. He is saying, no, you go to bed and I'll take care of the household. I'll wash up. I'll whatever. He's doing all the things, all the extras, all the everything. All right. Another one, freshly postpartum, and it's really going to be amazing for you. He says, let me take the night shift. Can I massage this for you? I'm cooking your favorite meal. I got you something. I wash the dishes. Don't worry about the laundry. I'm building this for you. I'm sorry you didn't get much sleep. Let me take her over. You go shower. Whew. Wow. And when you see it edited like this, one after the other, like, oh my gosh, this guy is just bringing it, right? Like, bam, 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 favor, gift, princess treatment, attention, caring, details. You look at that and you're like, my life looks nothing like that. Even if your husband had done one of these things or some of these things, or even if he had done all of these things, he certainly didn't do them all in the space of 30 seconds, right? And the intensity of that plays with our brain. We watch them and we're like, oh, wow, this guy is just on her. He's all over, pampering her, being there for her, guessing at her every whim, guessing at whatever it is that she might need. Okay. And again, another one who says, here, we'll just refresh it. Yeah, the way a man treats you is a reflection of how he feels about you. The way a man treats you on your birthday, okay? So this is how her husband treats her on her birthday. He surprises her with a huge display of many, many gifts and cakes and balloons and candles and the princess treatment. And she's not only sharing that with us and saying, wow, look all the things that my husband does, but she's also letting us know in no uncertain terms that if your husband doesn't do that for you, that's a reflection of how he feels about you, because the way a man treats you is a reflection of how he, on your birthday, is a reflection of what he feels about you. And so, of course, all of us who have husbands who aren't planners, who aren't surprisers, walk off with our heads hung in shame and we feel like, oh, wow, I guess my husband doesn't love me. Cue the reeling, the spiraling, right? The going out of control, the overanalysis that our brains get into, right? Okay. Latimer says, my algorithm is exactly this, and those thoughts exactly have gone through my mind. Thank you for bringing this to our attention. Yes, I'm going to be bringing it to our attention in a really big way. I have been burnt by this big time. My poor husband has suffered at the hand of this big time, and we're going to break down exactly why this is so detrimental, although, of course, all of you intelligent people can already see why. When I point it out and when I present it to you like this, it's very obvious. However, we really do need to bolster ourselves up, to strengthen our mindsets, to scroll proof our marriage. And that's what this series is going to be all about, because the scroll, it's fun, it's good, it's entertainment, it's whatever. Maybe there are good things to it, it's fine, but it is absolutely destroying our homes. Now, I'm going to be completely frank with you. I'm using Instagram as a placeholder for culture at large, okay? Maybe you don't have an Instagram account. Maybe your poison is YouTube or Reddit or TikTok or even Apple TV, Netflix, Disney, anywhere you're consuming, okay? Because on TV, you're watching romanticized stories, you're watching fantasy, right? Those of us who have seen things like, I don't know, any of those vampire Twilight type of series, or any romance, right? Or any rom-com, any of the shows that show sweeping, big, exciting romances and grand gestures and soulmates and falling in love. Any of the shows that show amazing dads, or just, easy, beautiful, exciting relationships. You grow up on things like Princess Bride and Bridget Jones' Diary and all these different things. And then books too, as Ruta says, exactly, books, right? All of those series that are really designed to play into the female fantasy. The female fantasy is something like this: billionaire guy, very tall, very muscly, but a little bit shy and a little bit hard to understand and a little bit mysterious. But then he falls for that one totally normal, totally unremarkable girl, and he makes her feel like an absolute princess, and he lavishes her with all the gifts and all the princess treatment she could want, and he can afford everything. And he pays extra special emotional attention to her every need and attunes to her and is mesmerized by her endlessly and adoring of her and has no eyes for other women, doesn't even see them because he's so fixated on her. And that is something along the lines of the structure of the female fantasy, right? And many of the books that went viral, like the whole 50 Shades of Grey series and those types of series, exactly monopolize on that fantasy. Now, just as in the world of the male gaze, there's the male fantasy, right? The male fantasy of the ever warm, ever pleasing, ever receptive woman who just wants him and who's up for anything and who's super sexual, but also a little bit, virginal and also a little bit naughty and very, very attentive to his every need and very, very turned on and excited by him, right? That's what the world of porn often plays into. The world of feminine porn, which isn't necessarily pornographic, although it might be, plays into our fantasy of being doted on, of being cherished, of being protected, of being wanted all the time, of someone thinking about us and really just holding us and being there for us and listening to us and never being defensive and never being needy and never being immature and always being our guy, right? I saw a book once of porn for women, and it was basically these big, muscly, hunky, good-looking men vacuuming or cleaning or holding a baby or walking a dog, doing domestic stuff. And that was the fantasy. The fantasy was that this amazingly gorgeous guy that all the women would want only wants me. And not only he only wants me, but he shows me his deep appreciation and respect and adoration and desire by kind of serving me, by giving me princess treatment, by thinking about my every whim. Now, if I put on a bit more of a cynical hat, okay, these TikTok reels, these social media posts, these highlight reels of the matching pajamas and, oh, we make our beds together and he always thinks of me and he always offers me coffee and first he brings me coffee in bed before I even open my eyes. These stories that they are telling us and that they are showing us are really a little bit like porn in that they are designed to tap into a fantasy. They're a brag. They're a flex. They're designed to make us think, wow, I want that. I wish I had that. Wow, hashtag goals. This is so amazing. I would kill to have that. I don't have it. It's designed to be an out of reach fantasy. And one of the things that we don't notice when we scroll on social media is that these are performances, okay? Even if it's taken on a shaky phone, even if there's no filter or no editing or no face tuning or all of those things, it's still designed, even more so in a way, it's designed to look authentic and look real, but it is a performance. Now, I would love for you to let me know in the comments. Have you had an experience? I know there was a recent, very famous couple, right, who was couple goals, right? She was always doing fun things for him. She was always pulling great pranks on him. They were always cute and laughing, and their home was stunning, and their relationship was the best. They were like the best friends and the best soulmates and cute kids, and like, what's not to love, right? And this couple was a couple that when you scroll and when you look at them, you feel like crap in your own life, right? Because you're like, I don't pull funny stunts for my husband all the time. I'm not always smiling and laughing and giggling. He's not always just like, wow, adoring and doting and so into my antics. We don't have the budget to spend on all these bizarre pranks, right? And that couple was performing. That couple was performing for social media because social media is a job. Social media is a job, just like acting for Netflix is a job, or writing for the New York Times is a job, or writing a best-selling novel like 50 Shades of Grey is a job. And they have to market something that you'll want to buy. And what do we want to buy? We want to buy fantasy. And you might say to me, Avital, it's not a job. It's just people who are posting for fun. It's just people who, okay, so maybe they're not getting paid. Maybe they're not hashtag influencers. Maybe they don't have sponsorship deals, but you will pay them with attention. You will pay them with likes and clicks, and it's a job. And so they have to do things that are sensationalized. So tell me, I'm so happy if there's a postpartum mother out there whose husband was just doting on her every need. He had the lists, he did the things, the meal prep and the building the furniture and running out in the middle of the night to get her ice cream. And he did all the massages. I'm so happy for her. Like, truly and honestly, hand on my heart, wonderful. Like, I hope it continues. May it last. May it spread. Do I believe it? No, I don't believe there are men like that. I don't believe the performance. I have learned the very hard way, okay, and also through being on social media myself, right? I've learned the very hard way that these are edited, they are curated, they are produced in the sense that, oh, now I need a video of you getting me the bottles from the fridge. Now I need a video of you cleaning the car, right? Someone has to stand there with a camera and shoot these things. Do you understand? Someone's setting up a tripod, getting the lighting just right, doing 7 different takes so that it looks good, and then editing all the scenes, writing a list of screens to shoot, right? Oh, I have to shoot the shot when I'm in bed and you come and bring me my breakfast. Oh my gosh, you're surprising me with 4 little children and flowers and bouquets. Wait, ring the doorbell again. I need to go get my camera so I can shoot it, so I can present it to my audience, right? So I can have some content creation. It's a production. And this is how we consume our entertainment today, okay? It's the same as consuming Netflix or Disney or whatever, okay? It's just lower budgets of production, but it's the same. And what happens is that exposure to idealized couples lowers our relationship satisfaction. Boom, end of story. Like, it's just brain science. It's just how it works. Comparison kills joy, right? It's the thief of joy, as the saying goes. And even when nothing actually changed in your home, it's still the guy you chose. It's still the guy you said, I do with, till death do us part. It's still the guy you kissed on the cheek this morning and you thought everything's hunky-dory, I'm fine, I'm content, we're okay. You spend 5 seconds, not even minutes, seconds, scrolling and seeing these idealized, picture perfect, pajama matching, Christmas card highlight reels, and all the trad wives in their frolicking dresses and their sourdough saying how wonderful their husband is because he's such a great provider. And all the egalitarian couples being like, we're 100% 50-50. What, your husband doesn't do laundry? What's wrong with him? Dump him. The marriage is over. You spend 5 minutes, 5 seconds watching that. Your marriage doesn't get worse, but your comparison set does. Suddenly you're comparing your real life, your real marriage, which is sometimes messy, which is sometimes imperfect, which has human people with pros and cons and benefits and drawbacks, to an edited, produced highlight reel. Now, maybe in Hollywood movies, we're a little bit more, I don't think we are. I think our brain still treats it like reality, but maybe we're a little bit more skeptical. We're like, well, it's a produced series, it's a fantasy, it's a story, it's pornography. But in the highlight reels on social media, in the mom groups, we take it as fact. We take it as real life evidence, because this is how our brain works, that this is just how couples are, that this is real life, okay? Reels, scrolling, okay, even posts on WhatsApp or whatever, they create novelty, and that creates a dopamine hit. Okay, so we get this hit of dopamine, okay, which creates excitement. Like, oh, wow, look what he did. Oh, I'm so moved. Isn't that amazing? Isn't that gorgeous? Isn't that so sweet? Right? And we experience that vicariously through someone else's marriage. Like, that idealized couple has that. And then we compare it to our marriage, and it's a completely different set of hormones. So reels will spike dopamine, but your long-term stable marriage with a person that you love gives you oxytocin. It gives you stability. It gives you the type of love that lasts, that is stable, that is not about all these spikes and surprises and wow, 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 and all the fireworks going off. It's not about the butterflies. And so the comparison feels boring. It feels dry. It feels gray, right? Like, look what's going on my Instagram and look what's going on in my real life. Look what her birthday looked like and look what my birthday looked like. Now, this couple that I was mentioning, I forget even their names. You can probably say in the comments, but it doesn't matter. Again, I'm not here to throw shade at anyone specific. It turns out, I think a couple of weeks ago, it went that their marriage took a very public hit And it turns out he, I think, was unfaithful, and I think that the marriage is going to I think they're going to get a divorce. I think they're separating and getting a divorce. Okay. And when I heard that, I had this very strange internal kind of immature, I guess, roller coaster, right? Because I had seen their clips. I don't follow them closely, but I had seen their clips. They had brought a smile to my face. They had brought fantasy to my life. Like, wow, if only my marriage looked like that, right? And then I realized that they have a behind the scenes too, that they have a real life, a real messy life too, and that what they're presenting, the front that they're presenting, the editing out of all of the bad stuff, of all of what's going on behind the scenes, does not match their reality, right? What they're presenting to the world is, as I said, a fraction, and it's the edited, polished fraction, but it is not their real life. And maybe it's possible that my real life marriage is more stable or more healthy or more loyal than theirs. That they are very, very good at producing content that's shiny and glossy and exciting, but not at producing a marriage that really is lasting and loving. You have to notice the difference between the way things look and the way they really are. It's about not judging a book by its cover and being inside your real marriage story, not stuck on the cover of theirs. Okay. The truth is that real marriage and real love feels calmer than Instagram love. It doesn't have that epic feel to it. Okay. But does not mean that it's worse. And many times it means that it's much better and much healthier and much more real. And that's something we have to hold on to and we have to be aware of and we have to train our eyes for. So let me know in the comments right now, have you ever had this experience? Have you ever had this experience of holding a couple up on a pedestal, of idealizing them, of being like, oh my gosh, look at all the antics he does for her. Look at all these incredible shenanigans. I wish my husband did that. Comparing your backstage to their front stage, only to at some point get a little bit shocked, like, oh, they aren't who I thought they were. They don't have the morals, or they don't have the lifestyle, or they don't have the values, or they don't have the relationship that they were presenting. And that disappointment, that hit, that like, oh, my heroes have fallen type of feel, right? Is shocking and it's hurtful, right? It's really unpleasant, but it's also really a good confrontation, because it teaches us to stop holding up people on a pedestal, to stop assuming that they know exactly what they're doing, and to stop comparing their highlight reel to our day-to-day. Okay. Joy says, I've held you on a similar pedestal in the parenting realm. Well, I'm really glad that you're saying that out loud, because I know that whenever people put out content online, that's going to happen. But I say often and loudly and clearly, please try not to. I'll inevitably disappoint you. I'll inevitably not be the parent you wished I was, or thought I was, or that I presented to be. I say often that I have struggles. I'm having struggles right now with 2 of my children not knowing what to do in all sorts of situations, and getting advice and testing things out and being experimental and trying to figure it out. I've lost my cool. I've yelled. I've made mistakes. I'm by no means perfect in any kind of way. And also I'm raising my children and my circumstance with my resources and my culture and my environment. And that's going to be different from yours. And so can we be inspired a little bit by others? Sure. Can we learn from others who are teaching? Absolutely. But holding others on a pedestal is a recipe for disappointment. I've seen this in the religious realm, with priests and rabbis, etc., who turned out to not be who we thought they were. We see it in the world of celebrity, right? Where, oh my gosh, when they actually start talking and sharing their opinions, you're really disappointed. We've seen this in the realm of social media couples and families and moms who turn out to be, God forbid, abusive or doing illegal stuff or all sorts of things. And you really have to train your eyes. I mean, would I love to just get off social media altogether? Sure, great. If you can do that, go for it. But I'm not saying get off Instagram. I'm saying come here for this series. We're going to carry on tomorrow and learn to be media savvy and learn to notice what's really, really happening. Okay. Because what we've done is we've moved from building up our marriage, right? Really working on it, being inside it, having privacy, having loyalty, having a focus that's between me and my husband, and trying to figure that out, to interpreting marriages and performing marriages and vieweristically consuming marriages, and marriages being for content, right? And we have gone from asking, okay, how do I shape this? How do I gain the skills to have a really good marriage, which is what I teach you inside of Married You, and doors will open soon, and I very much hope you join. We've gone from asking, how do I develop great skills for a real lasting relationship, to asking, how does this look? What does this mean about us? How does this compare to others? How does my husband compare to that guy from Hawaii, right? Maria says, totally. As a content creator, I had to stop sharing the good moments every time, because really the people think that we are perfect, or my family is, or me, and we are not. Right, exactly. And I, a long time ago, stopped sharing, cute clips or great parenting moments or romantic moments with my husband, because I just felt like it's going to be misinterpreted. You're going to just see our highlight reel. You're not going to see, by the way, like, I've had moments where I'm trying to get a shot with my kids because I need that picture for marketing purposes, for a sales page or whatever. And it's nasty. It's horrible. It's a really bad atmosphere. I'm like yelling at, no, can you just sit there? I asked you, can you just smile for the camera? Okay, if you don't sit there, you're not getting a movie, right? Like that kind of, and it's like, that's, the image looks amazing. The image looks so calm, so sweet, so serene. And I had to teach myself that that's not okay. That's not happening. Okay. Like, it's not worth it. And so for a long time already, I really barely use any family imagery. But if I do, I try to make it authentic, or I try to make it staged. And I'm like, kids, I need you to model for me. I need you to, and we try to make it in a great atmosphere. But I could tell you, as someone who's taken these pictures and these videos, that it doesn't look like that behind the scenes. It doesn't. And if it does, great. Maybe you should keep it to yourself anyway, because it's private and it's personal. And those couples who celebrate their anniversaries the loudest and have the biggest proclamations of love online, and the sweetest thing that my husband did for me, and look what my husband bought for you, and look how he treats me postpartum, and look at this gift. Those are the couples I'm most worried about, because of the performance. I'm a little bit worried. Like, what's going on in real life? What's going on behind the scenes? Why do you feel the need to advertise how good things are? Right? It's a question. Like, is this a performance? That's part of the problem, is on social media, things aren't categorized properly. We don't know. Is it comedy? Is it satire? Is it just a show? Is it poetry? Is it real? Are you trying to say it's a documentary and it's authentic? Right? We don't really know what the content is trying to be. Right? What rules it's following? What internal logic does it have? And that makes it hard to interpret it. And so what our brain does is it just interprets it as reality. Like, oh, I just walked along the street and I saw this couple frolicking in the beach with the sun setting, and him rubbing her pregnant belly and holding their toddler, and everyone was happy and no one was arguing. There wasn't any problems, and the siblings just got along, and he suddenly produced a diamond out of nowhere and gave it to her. Like, it becomes as if my brain reads it as reality. Okay. And that is a big, big problem. Okay. Ruta says, I admired one couple some years ago. Maybe they were not too loud on the loving, but they were talking how they do weekly date nights as a must, and other things on how they work on their marriage. And then they got divorced. And it made me think, wait, if they didn't make it, who has a chance? Right. That's another thing. You think, well, if a couple that was so beautiful and so happy, and so, who has a chance? I want to tell you something. The couples who I see make it, and I know couples in their 70s and their 80s who have incredible marriages, they weren't anyone's highlight reel. Okay. They weren't a poster card for happy marriages. They were the people who quietly, steadily, stably, loyally, committedly worked on it and showed up day after day and created a deep love, an oxytocin fueled love, not a dopamine fueled love. Okay. This isn't about deleting Instagram. It's about noticing the lens through which we consume this content. Okay. You are not in a bad marriage if there's no abuse and there's no psychiatric conditions and there's no infidelity. There's no reason to think you're in a bad marriage, but you are in a comparison culture. That creates a bad marriage. If you move into a billionaire neighborhood, even if you're a millionaire, you're going to feel really poor. Okay. Again, if you move into a billionaire's neighborhood as a millionaire, you'll feel poor because comparison is everything. But online, they're not really billionaires. They're just performing billionairehood, right? They're like renting the Airbnb and the fancy cars and the private jets and showing us like they're billionaires, but really they're not. So we see these billionaire couples. I'm not talking about money now. I'm talking about like how happy their marriage is. And we're like, oh, but I'm in a millionaire relationship. Like my husband is just like a pretty good dad and sexually loyal, and he's quite a good listener sometimes, and he really likes me, and we kind of enjoy the same shows, and we're not so bad about switching off with the childcare help, but he doesn't do the laundry and wrap me in a burrito and bring me coffee in bed, so I guess I'm in a crap marriage, right? No, you're in a millionaire marriage. Stop comparing it to a performance of billionaires, okay? Comparison is the thief of perfectly good marriages. That's the bottom line here, okay? So I want you to move from being passively consuming these things to being intentional, okay? Stop interpreting everything. Stop overanalyzing. Stop allowing that to be a comparison point or data points to collect against your husband, and start shaping the marriage that you want. You're allowed to be unsatisfied. You're allowed to be frustrated. There might be things to work on in your marriage. My guess is that there are, and you should do it. But instead of having a marriage by scroll, a marriage by fantasy, I want to suggest that we build a marriage by design, that you actually think and design the marriage you want, okay? Instead of looking at all these billionaire houses online and thinking, why isn't my house like that? Let's design the house you want. Let's use your budget, your resources, your location, your culture, your needs, your lifestyle, and design the house you want. Let's apply that same metaphor to your marriage. Okay, Anna says, whenever I get reeled into overly romantic storylines of films and books, I actively think about the positive aspects of my own relationship, like security, loyalty, common goals, even though sometimes the adventure and passion is falling by the wayside, right? Sometimes there might not be those things in my marriage, but when I start to notice the things that there are, wow, there's stability. Oh, there's loyalty. Oh, there's teamwork. Oh, we have fun together, right? That changes the whole lens through which I look at it. Now, remember that fantasy is a passive thing. I just lie back and I let the images wash over me and I can imagine. It's all imaginary. It doesn't have to be realistic. It doesn't have to be down to earth, pragmatic. It doesn't have to be real human beings with real human complexity, with real in-laws and real jobs, right? Design is active. When we design things, we actually think about them working with the budget, about them actually functioning the way we need to function. And that is what I want to teach you inside of your marriage, okay? Strong marriages are built with real decisions. And most women are just waiting for the feelings, for the passion, for the vibe, for the aesthetic, okay? So we want to do less scrolling and more designing. Now, no one really teaches those marriage skills, exactly how to design the marriage that you want. We're told to just feel our way through it. We're told that we should just feel it. We should just be soulmates. If you're not feeling it, then it isn't there. If he doesn't give you the vibe, if he doesn't enact all of these fantasies, then maybe it's the wrong one. Okay, tomorrow we're going to talk exactly about what happens when we're scrolling online and we suddenly start to label and to overanalyze our partner, and how that in my marriage made things even worse. Okay, and this is why I started to teach the idea of marriage by design inside of Married You. Make sure that you are subscribed to the channel, click the like button. I would love you to leave me your comments below, and specifically your questions, because I'm going to gather them and I am going to answer as many of them as I can. If you love this series and you want more of it, let me know below, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.